Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you well and in excellent spirits. So, if you're new around here, my name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, I wanted to go live real quick for two reasons. Number one, it is January. It's Aquarius season, and we have a whole new flavor of Aquarius beginning this year. And so I kind of found it to be my mission to really help people set themselves up for success. All right. Because we are living in a time where the landscape is really changing. Okay. And a lot of the things that we relied on before are either not available to us or we're finding the need to adapt. And given my level of expertise, my knowledge, all of this stuff, I can't not sit on the sidelines and watch people just use the same old things and get the same old results. We are in a time where the future is now. And this particularly is a year of transformation. So I wanted to just do this live real quick to give you some tips on manifesting. And let me not even call them tips, because tips implies that I'm going to give you like three different techniques or a new way to do something to manifest. And that's definitely not what I'm going to be doing. But I wanted to discuss three things that you should know about manifestation to set yourself up for success this year. So that's the first objective of this video. The second is to talk about my upcoming workshop, which is happening next week on January 29th. And that is, let's pull that up real quick. The Cosmic Key Manifesting Success in 2025. All right. So it's a live workshop that is chock full of information that you will definitely want to learn so that you can set yourself up for success this year. Because, like I said, the landscape of everything that we know and the things that we're used to is definitely changing. And so when it comes to manifestation, there's some things that you should be knowledgeable of to really set yourself up for success. And this workshop that I'm hosting is happening next week, January 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll talk more about it towards the end of this video. Okay. But either way, I wanted to talk about manifesting specifically now. So in the year of our Lord 2025, right, manifesting it's become such a commonplace word. Everybody manifests, right? Whereas I remember a time not so long ago when manifesting was kind of like a dirty word, especially if you were very religious, especially if you were, of that sort of sect of society. Manifestation sounded like magic. And a lot of people weren't down with that, right? But now we're realizing our spiritual nature and manifesting is whatever. And so now you have this influx and you have this flood of information when it comes to manifesting. And from what I've noticed, a lot of it is centered around techniques. Well, what can I do? What hack can I adopt? How can I manifest my specific person in three, right? In 3 days, and all of these other things. Everyone wants everything now, fast, in a hurry, completely prepared, right? We live in a microwave society. And I'm not even going to lie to you, I was of the same thought as well. When you first get into manifestation, it's so empowering because it's like, I can create my reality. It could also be a little daunting, all right? Because now you're responsible for your reality as well. But that's another video for another day. But it empowers you because you're like, listen, I have all of this power. I can do this. I can manifest anything that I want. And that's so true. Okay. And again, I was of the same thought. I'm like, okay, I could have whatever I want, whenever I want. I could manifest something in 3 days. I could do all the things, right? All the things that people tell you. And I preface this by saying, everything that's sort of floating out there, there's a lot of it that's just straight up not true. But a lot of it is true. Okay. It's just not the entire truth. And I think that's where a lot of manifestation coaches, a lot of manifestation, information, content falls short because they give you only a small picture of what manifestation really is. And I want you to understand this basic premise. Everything is connected. Okay. This is part of what makes manifestation possible is the fact that everything is connected. Everything, it's like a giant web and everything and everyone is connected. We are all part of this one consciousness. So you cannot just separate manifestation into its own little compartment with its own little rules without taking into account sort of everything else. Okay. And that's where people fall short. So people will be manifesting something or manifesting someone, and they've been working on it for like years, right? And it hasn't shown up. And then often they'll say, well, this manifestation shit doesn't work, or, I'm not working hard enough. And, it's not about working hard. It's more so about working smart. And when you work smart, when we're talking about manifestation, we're talking about working holistically. We do not live in a vacuum, right? It's like this. And as I was preparing for this live, this example came to me, right? We have the universal law of gravity, right? At least on this planet, we are subject to gravity. Now, I don't care if you know how gravity works. If you don't, if you throw something up in the air, it's going to fall down. And then my mind said to me, but what about airplanes? Airplanes sort of defy gravity. There are things that can defy gravity, right? But here's the thing. You have to know how gravity works. You have to acknowledge gravity and work within it in order to defy it. Okay. And this becomes very important because, again, manifestation isn't just compartmentalized, right? Because that's when you start doing all the things and not necessarily seeing the results. Okay. And so when it comes to manifestation, you have to understand that we work within a universe and there are universal laws. Time is like an actual thing. Like, even though time is an illusion, because we live here on earth, time, delays, those are things, those are constraints within this matrix that we need to work with. And there's also a third thing that I'll get into that a lot of people may not agree with, but it's true nonetheless. All right. So let's get into the 3 things that I want to teach you about manifestation. All right. So first, alignment over everything. And this is a very broad statement because alignment can mean a lot of things. However, when I use the term alignment, I mean what is right for you. Okay. Now, we live in a collective society, right? And so there are societal norms, societal customs that lead us to believe that everyone should sort of be doing the same thing at the same time. Right? Now, not necessarily everyone in the world, but maybe everyone in your neighborhood, everyone in your culture, everyone in your generation, right? There's this narrative that everyone is sort of not forced to adhere to, but is sort of, it's a suggestive narrative, right? Yet you'll find outliers. You'll find people who don't ascribe to these narratives. And why? Because they've come to realize what works for them. And like I said before, there is an influx, there is a flood of information out there when it comes to manifesting and having the things that you want, right? But you have to understand what works for you. And when I say that, there's 2 things in particular that will let you know what works for you. Number 1, your personal astrology. And number 2, your numerology. Now, depending on where you are in this whole manifestation journey, where you stand on your spiritual journey, all of that stuff. Some people may say, listen, astrology, numerology, that has nothing to do with manifestation. Manifestation is on its own. You can manifest whatever you want, whenever you want, whatever, right? And again, when it comes to manifestation, you can, but let's say you are someone who, okay, the only example that's coming to mind is this. And this may be a little advanced, but go with me for a second. Follow me. So when it comes to astrology, right? Most of the things that people want to know is about money and relationships. And so when you want to talk about marriage, partnership, you look to your 7th house. Now, depending on what's going on with your 7th house can tell you a lot about your sort of blueprint for marriage. Okay. And one of the things that can suggest that you may get married at an older age or later on in life Is Saturn in your seventh house? If you have Saturn in your seventh house, you may find it difficult to get married, or you get married at an older age, right? So let's say you didn't know that. And you're 20 years old and you're dating someone and you really want to get married and you're like manifesting, you're doing all the things and nothing happens. And then this person ends up breaking up with you and you're like, manifestation doesn't work. And then you try it with the next person and the next person. And before you know it, you're like 35 and you haven't gotten married yet. And you're like, I don't understand what's wrong. This manifestation shit doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. No, manifestation does work. But manifestation, the way that we are taught it works within a construct. And that construct is your own natal chart. Your natal chart tells you, listen, you may not, it is likely that you may not get married until later on in life, right? If you know that, then you would tailor your actions differently. Your natal chart information informs you about you. And when you know about you, you take actions that are in alignment with you. That's how manifestation is us co-creating with God, the universe, source, whatever you call it, right? That's how you meet source halfway, is by getting into alignment. It's an even simpler example, right? It's like you decide to lose weight. And you're like, okay, I'm cutting out alcohol. If you're cutting out alcohol, it might be a little tricky to go to a bar or to go to a club, right? It's like putting yourself out of alignment. But if you avoid the party, if you avoid the bar, if you avoid the club, now you can have your water, you can have whatever you're drinking, and you're in alignment, right? Being in alignment is sort of where the magic happens, okay? And so when you understand yourself, that is how you put yourself into alignment. So the way that I want to say it might sound forceful, but at this stage in the game where we are, like, you need to know your natal chart. You just need to know it, because going into the future, if you are not in alignment with what is best for you, you are gonna have a very difficult time. So at this point in time, you need to know your natal chart, point blank, period. And when you know your natal chart, you'll know, okay, listen, my Venus sign is in Pisces. So I know that when it comes to manifesting, visualization will really work for me. Because Venus in Pisces is all about using your imagination to attract things to you, right? Let's say you've got Mercury in Libra. Perhaps you want to have an accountability partner, someone that you can talk to, because Mercury in Libra is all about talking to other people. Either, when it comes to keeping you on track with whatever you're trying to manifest, like knowing yourself is the key. Now, there are some people who, again, straight up say that astrology has nothing to do with manifestation. And I have to be honest, when I first got into, manifestation about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought the same thing. And I was very conflicted because I'm like, I'm an astrologer first and foremost. And I felt like astrology and manifestation were so separate, but they're not. Remember, if you get nothing else from this particular tidbit of information, I want you to remember the example of the airplane. The airplane seems to defy gravity because it understands how gravity works. It works within the constraints of gravity. When you know what you're working with, you can do better. And the same thing goes for numerology, right? With numerology, when you know your life path number is sort of where you're headed. It's sort of what you're supposed to grow into. When you know your life path number, that way you can tailor all of these techniques to work within the confines of your life path number. And that's how everything becomes aligned. And when everything is aligned, that's when things seemingly are just attracted to you. You're not racking your brain with 10,000 affirmations. And again, I'm not saying that those things don't work, but if we're working smarter, not harder. So get in alignment. Know your astrology, know your natal chart, if you don't know all of your numerology, because it is a lot, at least know your life path number. Knowing those two things will definitely, definitely, definitely help you out. Okay. And if you're interested, you will want to sign up for my free online community called Cosmic Collective. Not only do I have a workshop in there on an introduction to your natal chart, I have a whole bunch of information about numerology as well. So it's a free private online community where you have a whole bunch of resources. You can meet a whole bunch of other people who are astrology and spirituality enthusiasts, and you can start to live your best life. All right. So the link for that will be in the description box below. All right. But like I said, alignment over everything. It doesn't make sense to be doing a whole bunch of techniques if they're not going to work for you. And it reminds me to remind you that spirituality obviously differs from organized religion in several ways. But one of the more important ways that it differs is that it fosters an individual relationship between you and God or you and Source. Keyword individual. I think that the way a lot of people approach spirituality is from a very like organized religion standpoint, where it's like, okay, everyone should do this. Now, you do have a lot of people who are saying, well, this worked for me, right? So I'm just sharing what I know. But you have a lot of people saying that this is this and this is that. And it's like, that may be true, but it may not be true for you. And so when you know you can make the right moves for you. That's why alignment over everything. Okay. That's number one. Number two, divine timing is a thing. Okay. And I know for certain Neville Goddard talks about this, right? He talks about divine timing. That's why you kind of have to detach from the outcome because, like I said, we work in tandem with spirit. And so when you have people putting out this content with have your SP come back in 2 days, or when they put a time limit on it, that's very misleading because you set the intention and you let it go. And you say, listen, spirit, this is what me and you are working on. I've done my part. You do your part. I will wait for the result. That's sort of how divine timing works. But you can take it a step further. And this is where we talk about transits and we talk about sort of the energy of the moment. Now, I will keep reiterating this. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. You can indeed manifest anything you want. However, certain times are more opportune than others. Take, for instance, the lunar cycle. Every month we have a new moon and a full moon. Every new moon is a chance to manifest something new, right? But the manifestation that you're doing at each new moon should be different. Why? Because the energy of each new moon is different. Think of it this way. You have seasons for growing things, right? Right now we are in January. Where we are in the United States, it's brick. It's cold as fuck. It's even snowing in Florida. That's a whole nother video for another day because that's like whatever. But now's not the time to be planting strawberries. This is not strawberry season, right? And it's not to say, well, I can't ever have strawberries. You know, I want strawberries now. Well, guess what? You can get strawberries. You can get strawberries from a place where it is conducive to grow strawberries right now, right? But the energy where you're at, it's not strawberry season. So the lunar cycle in and of itself will show you, okay, depending on where this new moon is happening, as it relates to my natal chart, I know that, okay, it's a new moon in Scorpio. I can plant seeds of relationships because Scorpio is my 7th house. If this new moon in Scorpio is happening in your 10th house, that is not the house of relationships. That's the house of career. So it lets you know, okay, when it's new moon in Scorpio, I know that I can manifest something related to work. If you follow the seasons, you'll realize that there's a time for everything. So, all right, let's say I'm single and I'm ready to mingle and I really want to meet somebody. I would set the intention when the new moon is in my house of dating, which is in my 5th house, which for me is Virgo. So Virgo season to me is plant seeds for a new boo, right? whatever is going on energetically is here to help you. If you're out of alignment and you're out of season, you are swimming upstream. It's not to say that you're not going to get to your destination, but if you were to work smarter and plant seeds at the right season, you would have the thing at the right time instead of spinning your wheels and perhaps never getting it or getting it years later. Okay, so divine timing is a thing. Now, the other thing when I talk about transits, and I was having this conversation with a client the other day. Again, there's this every January, right? Everybody's like, new year, new me. I want to do this, that, and the third. You kind of have to understand the flavor of your year. Now, there's a general flavor to the year specifically, right? Take 2025, for instance. It's a universal 9-year in numerology, which is all about transformation. But guess what? Your personal year could be a year 1. So while collectively there's this energy of transformation, for you specifically, there's this energy of new beginnings, right? When you know that, you work with the energy. Also, depending on how the transits work with your particular natal chart, some years are just shitty years. Some years are just difficult years. There are years where you are meant to rest. There are years where you are meant to hustle. There are years where you are meant to collaborate. There are years when you are meant to go it alone. If you don't know this, you are working contrary to what is best for you, right? If you were, let's say this is a rest year for you, and that can be hard because in our society where it's hustle, go, do all the things, to take a year and rest you can feel shame, you can feel guilt, you can feel FOMO, you can feel so many things, right? But imagine what you could accomplish if you rested for an entire year and then had the energy to do the most, to hustle, to get everything that you need, right? That's timing at work. And how do you know what kind of year you're having? Well, you would look at your transits. You would look at the transits as it relates to your natal chart for that year. But you can also take a look at your personal numerology, your personal year. That's going to let you know the energy signature of the year for you. Let's say this is a personal year 6 for you. That has everything to do with family. That is a family-oriented number. And therefore, this could be a year that focuses a lot on family. If you're like, fuck family, like maybe you don't even know it's a family year, but you're all about career, and things aren't popping off, that could be why. You're sort of out of alignment and in the wrong season. So this sort of builds on what I was saying before, where alignment over everything is like divine timing too. Like you have to understand what season you're in. What time is it? Right? There's a time to wake up. There's a time to go to sleep. When you honor timing, when you honor divine timing, that's when the magic truly happens. So divine timing is a thing. All right. And finally, healing works wonders. Now, this is something that I have seen, not necessarily recently, because I stopped watching like a manifestation content, other people's manifestation content, right? But I remember this was a big thing. People were like, you don't need to be healed to manifest. You can manifest without healing. And that is true. It's definitely true. Your ability to manifest exists whether you are healed or not. Your ability to manifest is a natural birthright. That's how you are built. So it goes without saying that you can manifest without being healed. But honey, when you talk about holding on to the things that you're manifesting, this is where healing comes in. Okay. Imagine not you. The universe has a luxury private jet full of money, it's got your boo, it's got money, it's everything that you possibly want is on this private jet. And it's circling around the airport. And it's going to land. It needs to land at your gate, right? But guess what? There's a whole bunch of garbage. There's a whole bunch of shit all over the tarmac, so the plane can't land. Like the area around your gate is a mess. There's absolutely no place for the plane to land. So it just keeps circling. It just keeps circling and it never finds you. And you're like, oh, this doesn't exist. I'm never going to have it. Listen, the fact that you want it means that it already exists. So we need to get over that part. It exists. But what kind of environment is it going to like, how can this find you if your environment is all fucked up? Like, honestly, you've got trauma. You've got trust issues. You've got lack mentality. Listen, I'm giving it to you straight, no chaser, right? You want to be a millionaire, but you've got a piss poor mentality. How does that work? How do you think that you will hold on to anything if you're programmed to think that you can't hold on to anything? That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You want the love of your life. You don't trust anybody. How, Sway? How's that going to work? I don't mean to be flippant, but it's like we really have to come to terms with how we're standing in our own way. Okay? So, yes, you don't have to be healed to manifest, but guess what? You should be healed if you want to hold on to what you manifest. That's why people will manifest a text from their SP, but their SP doesn't stay. Or they have to keep saying affirmations to get this person to conform, right? Nah, son, that's not the way it goes. Okay. So we all know that like attracts like, right? Being healthy in mind, body, and soul attracts healthy things to you, right? Not even just that. The other day, I heard this message that really stuck out to me. And it's like, when we make decisions from fear or lack or from our wounds, it's like our blessings are still there, but they're held in escrow. They're held in a certain place until we have the container or the capacity to hold them, to have them. Trust and believe, a lot of times we ask for things that we're not necessarily ready for or equipped for. We may get it, but lose it because we just don't know how to hold on to it. And we don't know how to hold on to it because, being a human is traumatic. We go through traumatic things, and trauma it means different things to different people. Okay. So it's not about, when you think trauma, don't think of something that damn near killed you. Trauma runs the gamut of things, right? And these things accumulate. They accumulate within us. And it becomes a part of our belief system. It becomes a part of our mindset. It even becomes a part of our physical body sometimes. And so you're holding on to these things and they're taking up space, either physical space, mental space, energetic space. Remember, everything is energy. You can, when you attune to the frequency of abundance, you know what it does? It turns off lack. So if abundance is not being attracted to you, it's because your lack button, your lack frequency is still turned up a little bit, perhaps. That's why healing is so important. I know you want that relationship of a lifetime, right? You want to be able to trust somebody. You want someone to be your true partner. You want vulnerability. But if you have wounds with respect to vulnerability, if you have wounds with respect to trust, how can you hold on to the thing that you absolutely want? So you got to heal. And healing takes various forms. There's shadow work. There's therapy. There's sound therapy, which I specialize in, right? There's a myriad of ways that you can heal. But healing ultimately helps you. And this was the thing that kind of pissed me off the most when people were like, oh, you don't have to heal to manifest. It's because people straight up don't want to. They don't want to do the work. It's hard work. And because people have garnered success, they've manifested things when they were broken or depressed or whatever. Ask them if they held on to it. Or even better, Ask them if they even realized that they manifested the thing. You could manifest something and you can't even recognize that you manifested it because of your wounds, because of your trauma. And it's like healing can only benefit you. So if anyone's telling you, oh, you don't have to heal to manifest, I mean, technically they're right, but it really just shows that they're lazy or they just don't want to do the work. Manifestation isn't just a bippity boppity boop magic wand and you just get all the things. Manifestation is part of living a holistic life, a comprehensive life where you're healthy, where you're in tune with your divinity, where you're of service, where you have something of value to provide. Manifestation isn't just this thing that gives you a permission slip to have whatever you want, but you're still a fucked up individual or you're still living a half-assed life, right? Like we're doing all the things. And healing at the very basic level gives you the energetic space and the container to not only attract what you want, but hold on to it. Okay? Those are the three things. Alignment over everything, divine timing is a thing, and healing works wonders. When you start getting into these things, you'll notice your manifestations start to change, where things do come seamlessly because you're in alignment. When you're in alignment, everything is attracted to you. You understand the seasons, so you work with them. It makes life beautiful. It makes life delicious, and it makes life fun and exciting. Not to say that life isn't going to have its hardships and all of that, but these three things are definitely what is going to help you when it comes to manifesting success in 2025. All right. And again, if you are interested, you can join the private community, which is Cosmic Collective. The link will be in the description box below. Okay. And don't forget, next week, January 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is my workshop, The Cosmic Key Manifesting Success in 2025. So everything that I mentioned in this live, we are going to go deeper into it. And I am going to help you craft an actual plan, a written plan based on your astrology, your numerology. Plus, we are going to do some healing work. I'm a certified sound therapist. So we are going to do some energetic clearing. So you not only have the container to hold on to what you want and what you're trying to manifest, but you have a clear plan of action to make it happen. Once you finish with this workshop, you will know exactly what you need to do for you to manifest success in 2025. All right. So if you're watching this today on January 22nd and you sign up today, you'll still be able to get the early bird pricing. After today, it'll be regular pricing. I also have a VIP package, which consists of a 30-minute personalized coaching session with me where we go over your natal chart and the transits so you know exactly what to expect in the next year. All right. This is the workshop that you do not want to miss. All right. And so the link will be in the description box below. I'm excited to be offering this because I know how it works. It's worked in my life. And it's not even just for the fact of manifesting. This goes for everything. When you are in alignment, your life gets better. And I just want to teach you how to do that. And that's exactly what this workshop does. All right. So if you're interested, link is in the description box below. I'm looking so forward to seeing you in the workshop. But if not, hopefully you got at least one tidbit of information that you can use based on this video. And, if you want to know more, if you are new to the channel, you just happen to come across this video, I go live every Monday night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for the weekly astro forecast where I break down what's going down for the week. I've got plenty of videos here on my channel. I have that private community. I do readings. There's so much that I have to offer that I want to introduce to you guys. So peruse the description box, check out my website, and see if anything resonates with you. All right, my loves. So this was dope. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully I see you in the workshop. All right, my loves. Take care. Oops. All right. Take care.